Sawadee krap, I'm JP Mestanza, and it's the start of another week. It's Monday, July 8th. You're watching Phuket Xtra, brought to you by pdcphuket.com. The big story here in Phuket is the foreign man who escaped from a local hospital, stole a van, and crashed head-on into another vehicle while descending down into Patong on the Patong Hill Road. Authorities are now identifying that man as 18-year-old Charlie Ho from England.
The 18-year-old Ho was shirtless when he was extracted from the van, which he had stolen just minutes before in Katu. An investigation revealed how Ho had earlier in the day allegedly assaulted a Myanmar citizen, a neighbor from where he was staying, and he was arrested but taken to the hospital. He escaped from that hospital and ended up at the PTT gas station on the Katu side of Patong Hill at about 8 p.m. on Saturday night. That's when CCTV cameras caught the moment the Englishman had climbed into a passenger van that was left with the engine running and the keys still in the ignition. Shortly after he climbs in, two people can then be seen exiting the vehicle just seconds later, and Ho drove off with the side doors still open. The tourist drove the vehicle over Patong Hill past the Tiger Temple at the top, but drove head-on into a black passenger van about 100 meters past the temple towards Patong. The driver of the black van sustained leg injuries on impact and was sent to a local hospital. The 18-year-old who stole the van, he was trapped inside the vehicle, and special equipment was used to free Ho from the wreck by Kusodon Foundation rescue workers. Then he was transported to Patong Hospital. The owner of the stolen passenger van later told police that he had two people in his van when he stopped by the PTT gas station on the Katu side of the hill to buy some durian. He left the engine running, and that's when Charlie Ho seized the opportunity to steal the vehicle. The accident caused a massive traffic standstill for over an hour as Patong police cleared the vehicles from the road. An investigation is ongoing, and authorities are coordinating with the British Embassy regarding the man's actions. Katu police say they're filing charges of theft, though more charges could be coming down the pipeline depending on the investigation, according to authorities. Stay up to date with this story at thephuketnews.com.
Prime Minister Srettha tried to allay concerns over the increased traffic issues that an underpass at the Heroines monument site would cause, especially with the potential for flooding.
The Prime Minister arrived in Phuket on Friday at about 1 p.m. and immediately visited the Heroines monument area, where local transport officials and the Srisutorn Oboto briefed him on the underpass project for the site. However, the local community is concerned about the potential flooding issues that the Heroines monument underpass would bring, not just during its construction, but once completed. The Premier said that plans are in place to prevent flooding in the new tunnel and told locals that he has directed relevant agencies to study and implement drainage routes and water pumps to prevent tunnel flooding, especially as the site is located along a waterway. The Premier stated that short-term measures to reduce traffic issues in the area include blocking certain sections to speed up traffic and expanding city roads to distribute vehicles more efficiently. However, he didn't order any of that to take place, and no plans to expand city roads had been announced. The Heroines Monument Underpass project, which has a confirmed government budget of 2.3 billion baht, with a completion deadline set for 2026, it's meant to alleviate traffic congestion in the area once it's completed. It would include 3 lanes under the monument along the Tepkasatri Road, 2 northbound lanes, and 1 southbound lane. Last month, workers had moved the power lines approximately 1 kilometer south and north from the monument in anticipation for construction to begin later this year, though it's unclear exactly when. For more, visit thephuketnews.com.
I was sure that it'll be easier to clear you from my mind. I wish you fall off from the window, take a bad trip to the ground. Ooh. Ain't been a pleasure, see your pressure just before you break a bone.
On to the landslides and flooding issues of the island, as later on Friday, the Premier visited areas in Kamala that were heavily affected by the recent heavy deluge. And the next day, the Phuket governor instructed local municipalities to expedite the removal of waterway obstacles.
Prime Minister Srettha, along with a contingent of top local officials, visited the areas in the hills above Kamala that were affected by recent landslides, all to assess the damage. The area in the hills, a village dubbed Ban Hua Kwan Thai, had no obvious large construction projects underway, and the landslides appeared to be natural, according to officials. Not specifically mentioned in local official reports of the Prime Minister's visit was that homes at the base of that hill on the fringes of Kamala town were inundated by mud in the water runoff in the heavy downpours last week. The saturated soil, unable to absorb any more water, has led to these multiple incidents of land displacement, not just in Kamala, but in at least 18 locations across 3 districts. The Premier ordered the immediate implementation of floodways to manage water flow and prevent further damage. He also requested detailed maps of landslide-prone areas in Phuket to discuss long-term preventive measures. The Prime Minister highlighted the necessity of identifying and addressing other vulnerable areas beyond the immediate crisis. Of note, during his visit, the Premier did not stop by the residential areas in Tambon Tepkasatri and Srettha, which were the most severely affected areas by the flooding during heavy downpours last weekend, which left hundreds displaced. That job was left to the Phuket governor, Sopon Suwanarat, who led a big cleaning day on Saturday, focused on restoring homes, roads, and canal routes in Tambon Tepkasatri, which comprises 11 villages, 680 households, and saw just over 2,000 people affected. In fact, all of Talang district had been declared a flood disaster area, with the floods having affected just over 5,300 people and nearly 1,800 households across 28 villages. Srettha alone saw 2,000 people affected and 700 households affected by the floods of June 30th. For more, visit thephuket.news.com.
Every year, land transport offices across the country hold an auction for lucky license plate numbers to raise money for disabled victims of road accidents. And last week, Phuket's lucky license plate auction raised over 300,000 baht.
The Inspector General of the Department of Land Transport, Bupa Sri Charwan, confirmed the news that 319,500 baht was raised by the auction, which was held at the Royal Phuket City Hotel on Saturday, and it will go towards supporting 4 people in Phuket left disabled by road accidents. Funds raised by land transport offices throughout the country by auctioning off lucky license plates go to the Department of Land Transport's Road Safe Fund, which has been funded by the auction of special license plates since 2009. The aim is to help the disabled lead better lives by providing standard quality equipment suited to their physical conditions, including prosthetic limbs, wheelchairs, and more. Between 2009 and 2022, 80 disabled individuals in Phuket received assistance worth a total of 4.1 million baht. For more, visit thephuket.news.com.
We really appreciate you kicking off your week with us here at Phuket Extra, brought to you by pvcphuket.com. We'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000 and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks and mortar investment offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.